basically a typical undereducated American who got thrown into a situation that she was totally not prepared for.
Who are you talking about?
Cortez.
AOC. As Ben likes to call her.
Acacia. Acacia.
She's not, I mean, I'm sure she was a great bartender. She's a terrible senator, and the problem is she's a Democrat. And the Democrats eat their own. I mean, they instead of Nancy Pelosi going, look here, that's how this is going to work. This is what you need to say. This is what you need to do. They're just letting her they're just feeding her to the sharks.
Why do you think that is?
Well, with Nancy Pelosi, it makes sense. And the reason why I say that is because the way Nancy Pelosi looks at it is, Nancy's been in politics for a long time, and like her or hate her, whatever it is, she worked very hard to get where she's at, and no one, and no one handed her the keys to the castle. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Nobody took her under her wing. So the way Nancy Pelosi looks at it is like, hey, deep into the pool, fucking swim or sink. Which, I get that idea, but man, as dumb as things that have come out of her mouth, you would think that the Democrats would be like, look, man, you just got to shut up, or you need to shut up, or you need to get a couple of those kids on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader and have them pre-read all your stuff because you are dumb.
But you just said she's not dumb.
She's not. She's not dumb.
She's not.
But you're talking about going from 0 to 1,000, right? And she thinks, and her problem is, she thinks she can still say the things. She can still say the things and ideas that she had while she was stealing tips in a bar, versus a sitting senator, a sitting representative.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand big picture. And she's going to get crushed. I don't believe that she'll get reelected because she has no idea what she's doing.
What about, you hear that Obama's wife, Michelle? They're starting to throw that around, that she'd run 2020.
I don't think she will.
I don't think so either.
No, I think this is just one of those things to pump up to. It's one of those things. The Obamas went from, well, they went from nothing. I mean, it's actually a pretty good American story. He was nobody, literally nobody. A fucking organizer in Chicago.
Yeah. Did
one term, and then he's the president of the United States. That is a fucking great American story. When you think about, in 8 years, he went from I want to say they were saying that he had like $34,000 in the bank to $11 million in the bank.
Good deal.
And the deal he's going to cut with Netflix is going to make him twice as much money. You know what I'm saying? So they have to stay relevant. They understand the way to make the money.
Just throwing the name out
is
there.
To stay relevant. And Michelle, that's she's got to stay relevant, and the way you stay relevant is you keep inserting yourself into politics, and they'll just keep making more and more money because people will be like, "Oh, that's a great idea," but I don't think Michelle Obama, I don't think she herself personally wants to be president of the United States. She barely wanted to be first lady. I mean, if you look at any of the times they were anywhere together, she's just like, oh my God, is this over? You know what I'm saying? She barely wanted to be first lady, so I highly doubt she wants to be president.
Right. What about Trump calling out Omar, that senator that wears a hijab, saying like her apology was lame?
Look, here's the thing. Democrats have no moral values. Because Democrats have no moral values. They will use moral values against Republicans, and Republicans will do dumb shit like fire other senators or push them, make them irrelevant. Where Democrats, because they have no more values, they don't care. They don't care what the problem is. It's all optics. The only time you see Democrats do anything, if it's a way to make them look good, it's all optics. It's no different than this whole blackface thing. You got a whole Democratic wing in Virginia that is running around in blackface, and the Democrats are just like, oh, it's not really that big of a deal. He's not going to leave. The Virginia governor's not going to leave office.
No.
So, it's like Jimmy Kimmel running around telling everybody, he's doing that SJW. He wore blackface. He dressed up as a black guy. But because it's them, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know why? Do you know why?
No.
Because the Democratic Party is the party of slave owners. So it's okay for slave owners to make fun of black people. That is why. The Republican Party is the party that freed the slaves. So it's not really good for Republican Party members to be running around in blackface, which, of course, they're not the ones getting caught doing it. So
I like how all those pictures, like Hillary in blackface and
I saw something that said that wasn't her. I don't know if that
Fucking look like her.
Yeah, I don't know. One way or the other. Here's the thing. Hillary, look, she did a eulogy. She did a eulogy and celebrated the life and times of a grand master in the Ku Klux Klan. Okay? Of the Ku Klux Klan. So,
Unknown.
yeah, blackface? Who cares? I mean, really. If she was in blackface, who cares? She fucking celebrated Klan members. Because the Democratic Party is actually the party of the Klan people. You guys are idiots. You want to put Nazis in the Republican Party? I'm sure there's some Nazi Republicans, but the Klan is most certainly the Democratic Party. And they still run their whole idea is keeping you on the plantation. That's why they want to give you a check every month so they can keep you on the plantation. Did you see any of those Democrats? You see any of those Democrats standing up for low black and Hispanic unemployment? Nope. No. Because they don't want you to work. Well, they only want you to work for them. So they're going to keep you poor and keep you voting for them because you are ignorant. That's right, I said it. You are ignorant to the ways of the Democratic Party, the slave party. So, keep voting for those slave owners. I got more respect. I got more respect for somebody who fucking voted for Bernie Sanders than I do somebody who votes Democrat because, at least Bernie Sanders is throwing out like a different kind of agenda. But even Bernie Sanders sold out to the fucking DNC, who was paid off by Hillary Clinton. So even his fake socialism, doesn't work. You're retarded if you vote for either of those parties, really. So there's you got me on an AOC kick. I feel sorry for her actually, because they threw her in the deep end of the pool, and not a fucking, and I don't know this to be 100% true, but not a fucking single real Democrat has gone over and been like,
hey, girl.
hey, check it out. This is what we're going to do. We're going to proofread all your stuff before you put it out because you look stupid every time you do this.
Every time you open your mouth.
Every time you tell everybody that we're going to fucking get rid of airplanes and take trains. What?
And regulate cow farts.
It's interesting, AOC, that, did you hear that California just shut down their high-speed rail? Oh!
Yeah, they pulled the plug on it.
They pulled the plug on it. Why? Because it's a boondoggle. Because Dianne Feinstein, the only thing that was for was so Dianne Feinstein could take money over here and put it right here.
Her husband.
Whoop, right in her own pocket. It was a ripoff.
Her husband's pocket.
This is what I think happened. This is why I think California pulled the plug.
Why?
Here's my conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Because after the fires,
Yep.
everybody was talking about how California was going to use eminent domain to take those properties away from those property owners.
That are worth nothing then, because there's nothing on it.
Yep.
Not nothing, but you know.
And because all that got exposed, California had to be like, oh
Shit. Gates
shit.
up.
How can we run this? How can we run this through there? So I don't know, crazy.
So you think they let those fires burn on purpose?
What? Do I think they let them burn on purpose?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe they. I don't believe
Do
they
you
let
think
them.
they set those fires?
I don't believe they let them. Well, here's the thing. The fires. I believe one of them. I believe one has been attributed to arson, and the other ones were all attributed to SDG&E.
What? S.
SDG&E is the power company that runs all the electricity in California.
So electricity started the fire?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Which means those fires were started in specific locations. If those fires were started in specific locations in SDG, how is that
Yeah.
not a coincidence? Especially when you think that the state of California regulates the amount. State of California regulates the amount power can be charged for. So the state, SDG&E does not regulate that. The state of California does, and they're never held liable anytime there's a fire that they created. So you never know. So there's stranger conspiracies out there.
Yep.
And I'm not a conspiracy guy. I don't think that two techs from SDG&E started those fires, but there are stranger conspiracies. Anytime there's a money, anytime there's a lot of money involved, you can have people do crazy shit.
Yep.
That's my take on current political climate. Yeah, if you don't like Republicans, at least vote independent. Vote for who's that crazy dude that got beat up in his front yard? Ron Paul, right? Or Paul Ryan?
Ryan.
No, is it Paul Ryan
No.
or Ron Paul?
Ron Paul, I think. Isn't
He's
Paul-
like a liberal, smoke
Yeah.
pot.
Yeah, he was
Shoot
Speaker
heroin,
of the House or
yeah.
something, right?
No, that's Florida, I think. Anyways, vote Libertarian if you don't want to vote Republican. Vote Libertarian or vote. You know what? Vote third party. That the owner of Starbucks, which is another an even better story than the Obama's because he started a corporation. He didn't fleece America. Is there? He was living in Section 8 housing. That guy lived in Section 8 housing. Now he's a multimillionaire, or probably even maybe a billionaire.
Yeah.
And he's got some decent non crazy lefty ideas. Vote for him. If you vote Democrat, you're just a slave. You're an ignorant slave. Period. I'm sorry, my Democrat friends, but you are just an ignorant slave, or you have just been educated in the salt mines of our education system and don't understand how the real world works. Don't put any of that up.
Okay.
No, don't put any of it up. Not a bit of it.
Raw.
No good.
It's all awesome.
None of it was good. I mean, it's no good. Antifa's carrying guns now.
Yep.
There's no way that ends well.
No.
For Antifa.
For Antifa, yeah.
For Antifa. You know,
Yeah,
Antifa.
offered-
You know, Antifa, the government in Venezuela. What they do is whenever they want to create a serious riot, they have people on both sides shot. So the government shoots people on both sides, so it looks like both sides started it. Not saying Antifa. I'm just saying you guys are setting yourself up to be massacred because that's what's going to happen. you're going to get massacred. You're going to get hunted down, massacred like dogs. It's just going to be, it's not going to be good for you. So, you know, I would say go back to your parents' house, pack all your stuff up in the basement, and go live your life and quit pretending that somehow anything that you're doing up there has anything to do with what the federal government is going to do. Because even if the Democrats are in charge, all this bullshit that they're pushing through right now, all these non-binding resolutions, the only reason why they're doing it is to keep you thinking that they give a shit about you. When they control both the House and the Senate and the White House, they didn't pass any of that shit. They're only pushing it forward because they know it's not going to pass. So you'll go,
yay, the Democrats are looking out for us. They're such good guys.
they're only doing it because they know it's not going to go anywhere. If they controlled the House and the Senate and the White House, they wouldn't pass none of those bills. Why do you think Obama spent all that time on fucking on healthcare and didn't do anything about guns? Didn't do anything about billionaires, my friend, billionaires. They're up here. You're down here fucking. It's like when I come in the kitchen. You're down here playing chess. They're fucking three-dimensional up here thinking about how they can get their products into China and India and create a global market where you as an American are going to get crushed under the weight of the global market because those billionaires aren't going to need you anymore. They're not going to need your labor and they're not going to need your dollars because they are going to become a global market. We're kind of there right now, and that's why you have all these people out of work because it's a global market. They don't need you anymore. That's what you need to be looking at. You need to be looking at 10 years down the road, not the fucking $5 or the $2 you want for working at McDonald's.
You think we have to worry about China being able to shoot down satellites? No.
No, we don't.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Why are they all hopped up on the space frontier? They're like, the next war we fight is going to be in space. I don't know how China thinks they're getting there.
What do you mean? China will get to space.
Yeah. No.
They're putting military GDP money into space.
Yeah.
They've already got plans. They've already got plans for a colony on the dark side of the moon, because there's helium-3 there, and they want to scrape the surface of the moon to get the helium-3 there from off of there. That's why, really. So what most people don't understand is, you can say what you want about America. We are the dominant stabilizing force in the world. If you're in, Iraq, you might not be too happy about that. But the reality is, your system of governance was so fucked up that you couldn't just govern yourself. So we had to come in there and do some dumb shit. But outside of that, the world is doing better under our governance than any other time in history. Mm-hmm. Right? It's any other time in history, which includes space. Anytime you hear our government go, oh my God, the Chinese they might shoot down our satellites. What they're saying is,
we need more money.
No, what they're saying is, we really can shoot down everybody's satellites. We need something to shoot down their satellites, shoot downers. And then they're going to already have it. They launched a spacecraft. So the Air Force launched a spacecraft. It's this thing that you're supposed to be able to, it's an autonomous spacecraft that you put troops in, right? You're supposed to be able to put troops in, and it just flies up, flies down anywhere in the world. So, right now, we're usually doing planes, trains, and automobiles, boats, to get anywhere. It could take months to get a force sizable enough anywhere in the world, right? So, Gulf War. We fucking, for the first Gulf War, we pushed troops in theater. It took 6 months to get enough troops in theater to even think you're going to have a fight, right? So the Air Force created this autonomous spaceship that you're supposed to be able to put troops on, right? So you put your Space Marines on, and because you're using space, just like a ballistic missile, you can get anywhere in the world in like 30 minutes. So you can put troops on the ground anywhere in the world in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? They launched that thing, and I believe it has been in space now. I've been orbiting the planet right now for 8 months, and the Air Force won't tell anybody what it's doing.
What do you think it's doing?
It's doing something that it's
Gathering intel?
Yeah, it's doing something that
Shouldn't be doing.
depends on what you mean by shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But it's doing something that no other country in the world is prepared for what it's doing, right? It's kind of like when you think about, governments spying on their own people. They learned all that from us.
Yeah.
We created those programs. They got it from us. We created those. We created the programs that they use. The cartel uses programs that we created to spy on its political people and news personnel. We created that stuff. So if I think probably right now in the halls of the Pentagon, they're like, hey, remember that autonomous robot that we made for the fucking war that has a machine gun on it that we can just drive around in the desert? We need to get one of those on the moon. That's probably what they're doing.
Right.
They're probably, because if you pay attention to, here's the thing, if you pay attention to the back page and you don't just look at the front page, pay attention to the back page. As of President Obama, NASA had no thought, like not even an inclination of going to the moon. NASA was like, we're going to Mars, man. Fuck the moon. We've already been there. We've dropped flags. We left trash behind. We're going to Mars. We don't need to go to the moon. China goes to the dark side of the moon. They try and grow plants. They're actually sending a 3D printer to the moon that's going to 3D print habitat. Now, NASA has a plan to go to the moon. Right?
Yeah.
What's
going on up there?
Why are we going to the moon? What purpose would we have to go to the moon? Unless the whole purpose is to go to the moon and tell China, hey man, what's up? Can't cross this line, remember?
Yeah.
Can't cross it. Hey.
Well, I saw a little blurb that China put out. They said that they're like, we just want everyone to know that space is not USA's private property.
Well, here's the thing about it. Here's the thing that most people don't know. The moon is like the middle of... So there is already an agreement about the moon. So this is where China is technically crossing the line. There is already an agreement about the moon. We have already agreed that the moon belongs to no one. Even though the United States was the first one there, which means we rightfully could claim it as ours. The United States was the first one there, and we planted 7 flags on the damn moon. We are all in agreement that the moon belongs to no one. So, in that essence, when we say the moon belongs to no one, we're also talking about everything on the moon. So, for example, if Chinese astronauts are fucking running around the moon and they get to our landing sites and they decide, hey man, I wonder if the dune buggy still works. Let's take it out for a spin.
Yeah.
Totally legal.
Yeah.
Totally legal because the moon does not belong to anybody.
Yeah.
But the Chinese are pushing a program. That is going to be removing resources from the moon.
Yeah.
So how do you lay claim? How do you say that the moon doesn't belong to America, but then you're going to lay claim to things that are on the moon, right? So yeah, it's here's the thing. And all you globalists, I know you love this, but here's the fact. In order for the globalists to actually take over, there are 2 things that have to be taken care of. 2 things. It's the Chinese, and that's the Russians. If you take care of the Chinese and the Russians, then the corporations can fan out around the world and we could have a one world government because everybody will be beholden to the corporations. Yeah, but you have to take out the Chinese and you have to take out the Russians. Like seriously, take out you. I mean the. And I'm not saying the Russians are going to be easy because it wouldn't be easy. But compared to the two, the Chinese is a bigger problem. They're a bigger fucking problem. They have 20 because they have 26 million men. 26 million men that will not have an opportunity to get married because of all the females that they killed. So they have 26 million men that no matter what cannot get married. And they are going to be in their 30s here soon.
Yeah, fighting age.
So even for the Chinese, the best thing for the Chinese would be to put all those guys in uniform and go, hey,
off to war.
Go take over Africa and you can have all the women you want.
Yep.
Right? That would be the best thing for the Chinese. So there's this tipping point. India is the same way. I think India has 35 million men that do not have the capability of being married.
Why is their female population?
Because the same thing. The Indian government, they weren't killing. I might be totally wrong about this. I don't think they were killing females, but there was this honor thing about having a male child. So they went through the whole kind of the same thing the Chinese did with male births. So their male births increased, their female births went down, and so you have all these guys in these generations that there's just not enough females. Like China actually made it legal for a woman in China to have more than one husband. I think she can have like 3 husbands.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Pretty good, right, Caps?
Well, I mean, maybe.
Caps likes that.
Maybe you Gabby's thinking, oh man, think of all the chores that could get done.
Yep.
But she's not thinking about what those men want to do. Those men aren't talking about chores. They're talking about other shit.
Yeah, other shit, Caps.
So
Times 3.
it'll be interesting. I think the next 10 years it's going to be within the next 10 years we are either going to self-implode. We're either going to self-implode because the left is fucking completely crazy. We're either going to self-implode or the United States in the next 10 years is going to span across the globe like a fucking plague of locusts. And it'll all be run by corporations. The Fed, I'm sure we'll still have a president and a Congress, but it'll all be run by corporations. Corporations will, look at Bezos, right? Bezos has got no choice. He's really got no choice. He's conquered the market in the United States. He has no choice. What's next?
Yep.
He has to expand. Which, no matter what anybody says, American corporations expanding anywhere else in the world brings American values and American ideas. So that, and you're in the Middle East, that's a conflict with Middle Eastern values and ideas. You go to China, it's a conflict with Chinese values and ideas. So the next 10 years is going to be interesting.
What do you think about Russia unplugging from the internet?
Oh, they're not going to do it. Why would they do it?
They said they're planning on it.
They're not going to do it. You mean like unplugging from Google and having their own...
unplugging from the internet.
They're not going to do it.
I don't even know how the fuck you go about starting that.
Well, they could. They could. There is feeders into those countries, so they could technically shut Google down. They could shut Google down. The problem is, and the reason why they won't do it is because of all the technological ideas that you can steal just from being on the internet.
Yeah.
Right? You know the direction. So, for example, if you wanted to make, if you wanted to know what the next tank is that the United States is making, it's going to be on the internet. Right. You can find that on the internet. So you can be like, oh, they're trying to make a fucking invisible tank. So now you know the direction that you need to go because of the fucking internet. Yeah. So I doubt they're going to... And then, fuck, there are people with internet in Korea, in North Korea. They're not going to be able. That's the thing. They're not going to be able to stop Google. Google doesn't want to stop.
Yeah.
Apple doesn't want to stop. There's no corporation is going to There's no corporation out there right now. No major corporation out there right now that is going. What's good for the people?
Yeah.
Should we really stop making phones in China? What's good for the people? They don't give a shit about. All they care about is dollars.
Money, money, money.